Hey.
Hey, what's up? All right. So, folks, if you're just tuning in, we are doing our monthly market chat.
But Warren's in Vancouver.
So this is a treat.
I'm so excited. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's. Why don't we tell the people what we're doing here?
Well,
with these chats.
Okay. Yeah. What are we doing with these chats? These chats are basically, so as you guys know, Warren is mostly based out of Victoria now, and he's been kind enough to come back and help us here because it's so crazy busy as well. I don't know how he does it, going back and forth between both places. But basically the market chats are just to talk about what's happening in the market in different places, like Metro Vancouver, Victoria, and the island. Yeah, there's no pressure on these chats.
They're mainly for us, actually, and then we just.
But there's good tidbits of information.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's get into it. Let me get a little bit more comfortable.
Okay.
Stay a while.
Yeah.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
cold today.
Yeah. So.
Do you want to start with just like, we're not going to bombard people with stats because Warren and I already know them.
Yeah, and I'm kind of over the stats anyway.
Yeah.
Stats are boring. Actually.
Well, let's give two stats and then say what we're seeing in the market and how we're helping our clients though.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. Just a general thing. I think everybody knows the market's hot.
Y'all know.
But is it in all segments, or what do you want to go off of?
Well, I was just gonna say that. I was gonna say that in February. That's a car alarm. 3,721 sales last month in February, because we're filming this at the beginning of March.
In Greater Vancouver.
In Greater Vancouver.
Yeah.
And it's crazy that's like a 73% increase from February the year prior. And what's more, then we can speak to what we're seeing in real time.
In that market, if you remember,
yes.
that was pre-COVID.
Yeah.
We were actually busy. That
it
market
was busy.
ramping up, prices were
That's
increasing.
right.
Everybody was excited.
Especially compared to like the year before, where it was like, oh, it's slower.
So 73% increase from then.
Yeah, and what's more than that is that was what was it? I don't want to say the wrong percentage. 56% increase from the previous month. 56% increase from January to February.
January this year.
Yeah. And it
speaks
speaks to what Warren and I are both seeing. Well, you're seeing it in Victoria. I'm seeing it here. With our selling clients, where we're dealing with multiple offers. You have to present those in a really specific way as well. You want to make sure that you're picking the one with the best price, terms, and conditions. And when you're under the gun in terms of time crunches, looking and reviewing at 7 to 12 to 20 offers, it's hard because you want to pick the right one. So that it requires skill.
Yeah. Hey, just some comments on that. The multiple offers. I'm still noticing that properties that are overpriced,
not selling,
even just by a bit, they're not getting offers.
That's right.
They're getting left, and it's been a price-sensitive market for the past several years. Where if you're not at market value or at another attractive price, you're just sitting, and that could be you're just overpriced by like 2 or 3%.
Which is a perfect segue into the fact that you've been in 2 recent multiple offer situations with some of our buying clients.
I have.
And you've won.
Yes, we have.
And so I want to know what gave you that competitive edge. Like, what specifically did you do? Because I know what I would do. What did you do to allow our clients that success?
Gladly. Okay, wait. I'm ADD, and I want to talk about something else for a second.
Sure, I'll go back.
It's because you mentioned that there are 3,700 sales in Greater Vancouver for the month of February, and I just want to compare this to the size of the Victoria Real Estate Board.
Yeah, do it.
Where I'm doing a lot of work now. So in the month of February, there were, I want to call it 850 approximately. It was 8 something.
Okay.
Sales in that real estate board. So it's just that it's a good comparison for the difference in size and volume.
That's
of
important.
the market.
I didn't know that.
It's actually quite a lot
active
smaller
Victoria.
market, and this is like Greater Victoria, just like you would, Greater Vancouver's multiple municipalities.
Yes.
So that's
like downtown Victoria, the areas outside of that.
all
I
the
don't know all of
Saanaches,
them.
Metchosin, Brentwood Bay,
Cool.
all the way up there. Anyway, back to the question. How are we successful in...
How are you... You were successful.
How was
Warren wrote those offers in Vancouver.
Well, we're a team, so it's our success. It was all about preparation.
Yeah.
And, that's the most important thing, getting our clients up to speed on what's happening in the market. but also helping them get clear on what they're after, because you need targeted focus. So you can't be looking all over the city at different product or different home types. The more focus you have, the more dialed and the more, I guess, dangerous you can be when writing your offering. Dangerous, I mean, like, you know, you can be a killer. So so well, we have this video series actually, which I've got our recent buyers to watch, and it's how to write a compelling offer. And this was filmed in the summertime. There weren't too many multiple offers at the time, but yeah, the preparation, completing our due diligence ahead of time, because we get this question, you know, if it's a multiple offer scenario and we're going non-subject. By the way, neither of these two offers, luckily, neither of them were non-subject, so we still had time to do some necessary due diligence.
These days to get that.
But you know, and then you have to be able to adjust depending on what the other offers are like. But it's completing as much due diligence as you can before writing your offer, so you're not just going in blind. Because people will ask, well, does that mean that, you know, I can't do an inspection? It's like, well, you can.
Well, you could do
like a pre-inspection. Just to, you know, it doesn't mean that you're going to subject yourself to unnecessary risk if you can avoid it. But something we generally have all the time is subject to financing or bank appraisal. Yeah, but I mean, we can talk about that. But tight subjects, being accurate on the price, and that definitely means knowing the market or having somebody that can guide you on price. And I think over the years, I've gotten pretty good at analyzing price and guiding our clients that way.
Where the market is going.
Yeah, where it is
Not
and where
even
it's going.
it's both of those two things. But and I say this because I'm speaking outside of Metro Vancouver for a moment. I've also been going out to like the Fraser Valley for clients that have been selling in Vancouver and purchasing further out, because you get more bang for your buck out there. And every single sale on a weekly basis is higher than the next. So it's like, if you look at the data as it exists today, just the data, it's inaccurate. It's not where the market is heading. And we've been writing offers out there, 25,000, 50,000, 75,000 above what the actual listing price is. And that's where the market is.
Yeah, so the listing price doesn't mean anything. It's like they get you in the door price. It's like on Boxing Day when they say, you know, up to 80% off. And everybody rushes in, and then you're like, well, what? Like this.
But then you end up buying almost the full
pack
price.
Of batteries was 80% off, and
you spent full price on the sweater.
Yeah, so you know, it can be misleading a lot of the time to go just based off of the list price, because it doesn't really mean anything.
Well, there was that news article, and it was about that property in Trout Lake that sold. Trout Lake is in Vancouver, and the news article said something like $800,000 above the list price. But it was priced that way on purpose to get the bidding war up to the price that it looked like it was.
I think it was still a high sale price though.
It was a little bit higher, but the spread of 800,000 is not as relevant as.
I could list my property for $1, and then it would sell like, you know, whatever, millions above the.
We don't want to beat it with a dead horse. That's what it is. Are you finished?
Did I cover that? Writing the compelling offer. Price, being good on price, your subjects, it's all preparation.
I did a couple other things too. I don't know if you did this with either of your guys where we just won. We, in a couple of cases, have submitted the pre-approval mortgage letter with the offer. Okay, perfect. See, and that's something that most people won't do. But for example,
not all mortgage brokers will supply you with the letter either.
No. But that's why we work with mortgage brokers that are really great at what they do, because they're on it.
Yeah.
Anyhow, so we're shopping in for these guys 650 range, pre-approvals for 800,000. So that's going to give a seller, when you're presenting multiple offers, more confidence, obviously, to go with our clients rather than someone else where it's just like, oh yeah, subject to financing.
Yeah, we may or may not.
I don't know if I'm going to remove that subject. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Or cash. If you got cash, then you're not including that, but you'd still do a pre-inspection most likely.
Yeah. Well, actually, shout out to Zahid.
Oh yeah.
He's actually one of the mortgage brokers that supply us with a pre-approval letter.
Oh great.
So help us get the job done. for our
Thanks,
client.
Zahid.
Yeah.
What else do we want to? I have a bunch of questions for something fun for later on, but that was the most pressing one, just because. I mean, people don't realize too that again, when you're on the listing side and then you've got a whole bunch of offers that your seller needs to consider. It's really emotional for a seller, and that also needs to be done thoughtfully and carefully, because I'll give an example. Last week, when we had multiple offers for one of our other clients, I'll just call her V and T. There's two of them. You know, you see a big price and it's like, oh, emotions automatically for the seller, right? And sometimes that biggest price is not the strongest offer, and it takes work to get the offers as tight as possible in favor of the seller. That also means that obviously price, dates, those kinds of things are going to be very important for a seller. They're not the only things, because there's some small language in the contract that may or may not need to be adjusted to offset risk on the seller. So what I want to say.
Well, those are so the offer that was accepted was one where they were going to keep the tenants.
Yes, but they also, I don't want to say too much, I guess, but they were not the highest price.
Yeah.
And we still had to work the price up to where it was acceptable to accept their offer and keep the tenants. So what I'm getting at is, like, if I'm a seller and I have 6 offers come in, for me, naturally, I think it's really emotional. Obviously, I see a really high price on one of them, because that's typically what will happen. You'll get 1 or 2 really high prices outside of the rest of the offers. It's easy to automatically want to go with that one because you're just looking at the price. There are a lot of other things that would be contained in the contracts that need to be tightened up in favor of the seller. It's not just about the price. Even though a seller's like, yeah.
Well, why don't you talk about some things?
So for example, in this particular offer, the buyer's agent had the seller warrants about the parking and storage locker. Also, they had said in the offer that it was designated inaccurately in accordance with the Form B. Like, I don't want to get too technical.
Yeah, we don't like having our sellers warrant anything. We like to put it back on the buyers that are writing offers, right? And for the buyers to do their own due diligence to their own satisfaction, and that keeps our sellers safe.
But what I'm saying is that these are little nuances, right? It would just be easier to accept that contract as it is if you're 100K over, let's say.
Yeah,
rather
so
than
you still gotta
crossing
put
it
the
out
work
and
in.
sending it back.
Yeah, don't just go based off the sale price and that, because there's a lot of other clauses that could expose our clients or have them exposed to risk.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, liabilities. Yeah.
So and I think in a market like this where it's so in favor of sellers, it's easy to forget those little things. It's like, oh my gosh, I just got the best price. I wasn't even expecting it. Let's just take it. It's like, no, slow down a second. We could still get it, but let's make the contract a little bit more in your favor to offset risk.
Totally, yeah. And you got to remain calm, because
that's right. And there's time clauses.
They don't want to lose. They don't want to lose the deal. They're like, let's take it. But yeah, you got to think level-headed.
That's right.
And make sure that.
And sometimes, like in this scenario, there was, I forget how many offers there were. It was more than 5, and it was a tight time clause. Like, everyone wanted to know back within 3 hours, which doesn't seem that long. But when you're trying to iron out, you pick the best one or the best 2 and iron out all the details, you're at the 3-hour mark and they expire. So.
Yeah, but it's a hot market. They'll wait.
Yeah, I know. Anyhow. Okay. I don't want to say anything else about the market. Everybody knows that it's hot.
Did you want to talk about like when you take a listing? Are you trying to get multiple offers in this market, or what's your approach? You want to talk about that?
Yeah, sure. So in this market, and again, we speak to the market. I wouldn't necessarily do this in a more even market or a downward market. Right now, we're taking listings where the most recent similar sale has been. I'm actually not in all cases recommending that we price it substantially lower, because in this market, you don't need to do it. It's going to adjust anyhow. And also, I mean, you can. I've seen people do it where it's like, I was the buyer's agent on this one. They priced it 50K below. It didn't need to be that low, because they were still going to get 50K above what the most recent sale was. So the spread actually looked like 100, because anyone that's going to do their due diligence knows where the most recent sale was anyhow. So I think, so for our sellers, we're actually pricing it right at where the most recent comparable sales have been, and they're still going multiple offers. Now, that can change quickly because the market is fluid. If it starts to change a little bit where we're not getting the activity, then the strategy will change.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, so you're not using any sneaky tactics to try to incite, a bidding war where put an artificially low price in front of people.
But I don't like it. It's annoying when that's done. And I get it. It's not as though, so depending on the situation, maybe it could be that
sometimes you
might have to.
Sometimes too.
You might have to in certain circumstances, but not, the question was for today, and I'm not recommending our sellers do that today.
Because the market's on a good path.
Yeah, it's going up. So, and that's the other thing too. It's like you price it at market, but it's still an upward market. Well, the prices are going there anyhow. So if you
the
price
market's
it too
done it
low,
for you. Yeah, in that regard.
Yeah.
Okay, so how would you prepare for and present, what was this question? No, I think you answered you answered the question. Well, how about show instructors? We talked about this before.
I'm doing something different now.
If you're expecting that this property would garner multiple offers, what are you doing to help your sellers achieve that?
I'm glad that you asked that. We're doing something a bit different now.
Cool.
And there's a couple of reasons why. I'm going to share with you why. So what I've been seeing out there, everyone's doing the same effing thing, which means they've got a sharp price in an upward market, and then it's like, oh, showings granting staggered on Saturday, Sunday, 2 to 4, and then maybe offers on Monday. I don't know why a lot of the realtors are doing that. Here's the thing, it's COVID right now. You're doing staggered showings. You need to make sure that the property still gets proper exposure. What happens, exactly what you said, if there's someone that's a highly qualified buyer wanting to pay cash and they can't get in to see it, they're not going to offer on it. Mm-hmm. So what we're actually...
because 2 to 4, if you got 15 minutes...
Everybody else is doing that too. They need to hit up all of them before making a decision.
But that's only 8 showings for your property that day. If it's between 2 and 4, that's 8 showings.
Yeah.
And we need more than that.
Yeah, like the last week, a week and a half ago, for the most recent one that we sold multiple offer, I had like 30 showings, and I planned appropriately for that. But a second portion to that is, I'm thinking, shoot, if I advertise the time, Saturday, Sunday, 2 to 4, people don't have enough time, and like people have stuff to do on the weekends. I'm actually doing something different, which I'm not seeing out there. So I'm recommending to our selling clients that they provide a weekday time on the Thursday or Friday, whatever. Mm-hmm. I would prefer not the Friday, because the other thing that happens is if for some reason those buyers have one thing that weekend and they're not in town, it takes out the Friday. So we're actually doing like a Wednesday or a Thursday. Mm-hmm. So we're live Monday or Tuesday.
So people have a lot of opportunity to see it.
But you're still stimulating that interest where the showings are staggered.
I like having a showing on a weekday too, because then they can get professional advice on things.
If they need to do a pre-inspection, they can do it. And they're going to bring me a cleaner offer.
Ask your property manager, ask their bank something, or whoever.
For sure. And they're going to be able to strengthen their position, which helps us strengthen our sellers' negotiating hand, actually, right? Mm-hmm.